Okay, on the metering block, I had pulled out the air idle screw. It's actually got two of them. I got to do the other side too. And blown that side out. And it has a cork gasket I got to find and put back in there. And I seen a little package with cork gaskets here. That's another reason you want to replace any cork parts, because cork dries out after a while. It gets brittle and leaks air, and you don't want that. Okay, there's one cork gasket. If I can get it out of there, there should be two, because this has two screws on it. Yes, you will have two idle air screws in a 2 or 4 barrel carburetor. There's the other one. Looks the same, yes, okay. Metering valve. Okay, that goes down in there. Carefully not to break it or anything. It's got to sit in a recess down in there. If I can get it in there. Oops, almost something. Need something a little more flattened around that won't hurt it. Will that work? Yes, okay. There. Just the handle off that metal pick. Got it down in there. And now this idle air screws can go in. I don't know what the instructions tell you here, but when you screw these in, screw them down till they seat. Don't crank down hard on them or you're going to mess your needle and seat up. Just till it seats, right there, and back off a half a turn. They usually recommend a quarter turn, but I always use half to get it idling at first. And then I'll pull the other one out and do the same thing there. Okay, got that done. Both needle and seats are in, gaskets. Well, I'll put the power valve back in. You got to remember which side it goes in, because it could screw in the wrong way, but you don't want it bumping up against these, so you know that's the wrong side. It's these two little bitty holes in here in the edge go down like that. That's the side you want this to go in. You want your gasket down there. I'm sure that's the right gasket, yes. It's got a step for that gasket to set in. And this, you use a wrench to tighten down. Large pair of vice grips, something like that. I don't have my right size wrench in here, so I'm just going to do a little cheat on it. There we go. Just good and snug. You don't want to crank down on it so tight you strip threads or anything like that. Okay. So, the next part of this I will not film, because putting it back together is reverse of taking it apart. Now, when I put these bolts back in, they need gaskets there. So I got to find the right gaskets. There's 4. That's not going to be enough. Looks like 8 of them in here. There we go. These are rubber. The other ones were fiber. One way you can double check to make sure if a gasket's the same or not. Line them up, look through the holes, nothing's blocked off, and if you do the same way with the other, you'll see they're exact same. So right now I gotta put this back on. Everything usually has notches in something like this where it only fits one way. Notches gotta line up, or pegs or whatever. When you put it back together, make sure your linkage is between the main body and the throttle plates are lined up, not jammed or nothing binding. Get this plate back in. Any screws you put in, you don't want them so loose they'll vibrate out, but you don't want them tighten them so much you strip them, because if you strip them, you're screwed. There we go. Now, the tube that goes between the two bowls. Make sure this rubber is in good shape. This kit did not have these rubbers because it was for a different kit or carburetor. But these are in good shape. And I know it looks like something's been rubbing against that tube right there. And if that wore a hole in there, it would cause issues with fuel problem. Fuel would leak and it wouldn't make it to your secondary cover. And I think I see what was rubbing against it right here, probably. Yep. I do believe so. I might have to do something with that. That's going to be a little tough. Those rubbers got to go seat down in the recess. Just be careful with them and don't rip them, break them, or destroy them in any way. They kind of got a lip. They fit over those pretty good. Of course, when you put all this on the vehicle, get it run, everything, you always double check for any leaks. There. Okay, it is back together there. And make some final adjustments, or check some final adjustments before it goes on the vehicle. Like I said, this choke is spring loaded. So when it's cold, if you push it to the floor and then back release it, say open your throttle up all the way and release it, this choke should be closed, and it's a little bit loose right there. So there's 3 screws on the little choke housing here. It's electric. What it does, it's got a spring in there that'll heat that up and it'll make that choke, that springs keep that choke open. You adjust your choke by loosening these screws. Now, not all of them are electric. Some carburetors had a little heat tube that went up through there where heat from the engine would heat that spring up. Okay, it should be. There we go. Now I can spin that back and forth a little bit. You see that? This black piece right here. Okay, And now you can see it's looser even. Actually, you could just hold this, the throttle plates open and do this. See, that's pretty sloppy. And as I turn, you've seen it move. There. There's a little slop in that linkage. But just to where it closes. There, it snaps back shut. Tighten these screws back down. And the choke is adjusted. I'll show you final adjustments when I go to do the tune-up. My next one will be the tune-up points, timing, dwell, and carburetor adjustment.